Hello, good afternoon, good evening, good morning, everyone. It's me, Raysai. Welcome back to PAA, the PAA series of recordings. It's been a while because week two, some stuff happened, so I had to claim. So there's no recording for that, unfortunately. But here we are back with week three, the American City skill issues versus Wealthy Wizard rather. The wizard's wealthy. Yeah, with Wealthy Wizard, the coach of the Locust Swarm. What a team name! Wow. Uh, Without further ado, the MU. They have Iron Hands, Garchomp, Celesteela, Samurott Hisui, Florges, Meloetta, Salazzle, Regieleki, Delmice, and Ops. Spidops. And, oh shit, this is Asher. Sorry, it shouldn't be Asher. That should be, Wealthy Wizard with two Z's. Not Asher. Wealthy Wizard is my opponent. So, this MU is actually, really pretty scary, actually. Mostly because of the first three. Iron Hands is considered one of the best Pokemon in, almost any ability, mainly because, for one, it's a fighting type, so it has access to a strong close combat, which is one of the strongest moves in AAA because it has no perfect immunities or counters to switch into, and its drawback isn't too big. So what makes Iron Hands especially scary is that despite being slow, it is extremely fat with an extremely high, I think, 140 base HP, I think. 140 or 150. Either way, it's really, really high. And a very good defense stat, and I think 104? I'm not sure, but it's above 100, that I'm sure of. Its SPDEF, despite being 60, can be really, really powerful in conjunction with the very high HP stat. If you slap on an AV on this guy or give him max special defense, he will eat any hit. And in AA, you can give him Regenerator with Assault Vest, and he can do a lot of damage because of his 130 attack despite being an Assault Vest mon. He can also be Poison Heal with Swords Dance, that's also extremely annoying. He can have immunity abilities like Earth Eater. He can, in rare occasions, I guess, he can run Guts. If he wants, he can run Stinted Lens. He can run Scrappy for ghost types that think they can switch into close combat. There are just so many things Iron Hands can do, and it's particularly hard to punish in that regard because of how fat it is and how hard it hits. You need to have a really good fighting / electric killer for you to get past Iron Hands, and you need to make sure you can eat the hit if there is a chance you won't kill it. Because if you don't kill it and you don't eat hits very well, yeah, you're dead. Iron Hands, it's a very scary mon. But I think we exert a lot of pressure on it, especially with Tapu Fini, Galarian Slowking, and the many physical threats we have in Weavile, Infernape, that can hit it hard, as well as Zoroark Hisui, who can hit it super hard on its lower special defense, and Landorus Therian, who can hit it super effectively with a very strong Earthquake. Garchomp is another mon I want to talk about here. It's also very scary in conjunction, it's also another very scary mon, mainly because, what do you call this? Mainly because, it's Garchomp. It's fast, it hits very hard with 130 attack and those juicy Earthquakes, has Scale Shot to boost its speed, Swords Dance to boost its attack, it has hazards in Rocks and Spikes, so it can be very scary in that regard too. Can run many things like Regenerator, Poison Heal, Adaptability, Tinted Lens, Mold Breaker for Levitate Mons, Sword of Ruin to boost its coverage as well as its stabs. There are just so many things Garchomp can do, and with those well-balanced stats by virtue of being a pseudo-legend, it's really hard to punish. What you will notice, however, is that with this top 2, along with Samurott Hisui, his team seems to be particularly very weak. So Tapu Fini might be very good here because there aren't many good Moonblast switch-ins outside Florges, who we can hit probably with the Nature's Madness, as well as Celesteela, who we can also hit with the Nature's Madness. Salazzle dies to Scald, and Florges is the only one with recovery, so I think Tapu Fini will be very good here too. Will be very good here. Celesteela is, also a very well balanced mon. By virtue of being UB, it has decent speed for auto-automized sets, but without auto-automized it's really slow. Very good attack, nearly the same attack, defense, special attack, special defense, all around the 100 numbers. So it's pretty damn well balanced in that regard. It has a good typing in Steel Flying, granting it only a weakness to only electric and fire. So in order for us to break it, we need something like maybe a Lantern or a Galvanized Landorus or Infernape to bring here, because this thing can hit pretty hard with those boosted or with those really strong heavy slams, and it's might be pretty hard to take down if we only use neutral hits. So we're going to have to bring something to hit it super effectively. But what makes it trickier in AA is that we don't know what its ability it could be. It could be Regenerator. It could be Volt Absorb. It could be Primordial Sea or Big Body. There are just so many things it can run as well, and because of how fat it is and how decently hard it can hit, it can be pretty hard to punish. Those are the main things I want to talk about on this draft. So, in order for us to take them down, first we will need, again, Tapu Fini to hit the top 2 especially. Also for Samura Tsusui, because it will continually spread Ceaseless Edge if it switches in on something like Weavile, which it can eat kind of well, I guess. Or Zoro Hisui if it comes in on a Revenge, or Galarian Slowking, maybe Landers on a Revenge as well. And it has many opportunities to set up Ceaseless Edge. So Tapu Fini is important here because it does pretty well with Moonblast, Nature's Madness, while also checking Samura Tsusui and making sure its spikes don't get set up. Another thing I think is important here is Weavile, because it looks Weavile and Infernape in particular look pretty hard to switch into. There is no mon here that can reliably switch into either, other than maybe a Maximum Fist Def Hands. A Maximum Fist Def Hands, which, a Maximum Fist Def Hands is, you don't hit that hard, so maybe something like Gloken will be able to switch into it once we confirm it's Fist Def. And on top of that, even Fist Def Hands won't be taking Technician Triple Axles or Adaptability Flare Blitz as well, because, it doesn't even resist them, and it doesn't have any healing outside your generator if it brings that to eat said hits. So, with those 3 in mind, and with our win cons quite clear to us, as well as what he can do to win, let's go into the team and discuss how we'll go into this matchup. The team. So, the first mon I'd like to bring, making a debut in our PEA season, is Arki Hisui. So I decided to bring a relatively simple set here. Just choice specs with adaptability. Hyper Voice and Shadow Ball I think are enough to hit everything. With U-turn and trick as mid-ground clicks, because the main switches I think to it are 1. Celesteela, 2. Assault Vest, Maximum Speed Def Assault Vest Hands, and 3. Florges. Now, the main thing is 1. Celesteela. I don't think it's likely to be the switch in here, because Zoroark has access to Flamethrower, meaning that if it has big body, sure, it can switch into Flamethrower, but it will be taking a lot of chip from Shadow Ball. And because it's big body, it is not going to be something like Regen, and it will continually get chipped by Shadow Ball, only having Lefties and Leech Seed as a means of recovery. And on top of that, it would need to be Spidef, meaning it wouldn't check Weavile, or it wouldn't check Galvanized Landorus, and it wouldn't check Physical Infernape, meaning that will be very good for us. As for Assault Vest Hands, I straight up don't think it's likely to come. Mainly because Assault Vest Hands only really checks Zoroark, because Zoroark, Hisui, and I guess Tapu Fini sort of. The thing is, Tapu Fini can go offensive here, and that would deal 50 I think with specs, Moonblasts and such, or just offensive boosting Moonblasts and such, which I don't think they're likely, but the fact that it can do that to hands is indicative of hands being a pretty poor Tapu Fini check or switch in as a whole. And if it's SPDEF, that means it's vulnerable to triple axle Weavile, to choice banded Infernape, and as well to Lando, because if it's Vest, it's probably going to be regen, or else it will get continually chipped by the special attacks it wants to take, and it won't be Earth Eater. So I think the reason why I went with a simple choice specs adaptability set is because Hyper Voice and Shadow Ball are extremely spammable here, with the only thing I need to worry about being Florges, which is why I brought Trick. Because in the instance, I confirm it's coming in, and I don't need Zoroark Hisui's choice specs anymore. I could probably trick it, and then it can't Wish, it can't click Synthesis without being worried about Choice Lock. Or Celesteela, I can trick it as well if I confirm it's a check. Now it can't click Leech Seed, or it can't click Autotomize, or it can't click Protect, or click it Sub, because it's worried about Choice Lock. I used to be a Protean set on this with Sludge Bomb Flamethrower, but the main reason I didn't do that is because Sludge Bomb is quite prediction reliant, because we're extremely worried about because that's entirely banking on Florges coming in. And while I am confident it will be the Zoroark switch in this matchup, I don't want to be at the risk of, Celesteela being the Zoroark switch in. That would make Sludge Bomb useless. And as much as it would make Flamethrower effective, Flamethrower wouldn't 2-hit KO Florges. So I think in general, Protean specs would be too prediction reliant, which is why I stuck to this adaptability set, because Hyper Voice and Shadow Ball are extremely spammable and are extremely spammable into all of the Pokemon, and U-turn is a good way to get momentum if the check wouldn't get 2-hit KO'd by either Hyper Voice or Shadow Ball, and Trick as a means of crippling checks if I needed to. So Zoroark Hisui, Zoro, I'm excited to see you in the MU, or excited to see you perform. Zoro, yeah. Okay, so the second Pokemon. Oh god, this is a mouthful. I really have. I really like talking about it's one of my favorite metals of all time. Forgive me. I just have so much to say, so much on my mind that I really want to share with you all. I want to make these videos as informative as possible so that I can hopefully help people improve their prep in AA and, in general, if you're planning for something or trying to fix a set. So, yeah, back on topic. We have Weavile. Surprise, surprise, it has Technician again. We're just back with the same Technician set. Triple Axle because it hits everything, and I mean everything, for really good damage. Except for Samurott Hisui, which has to have Fluffy for it to just not get 2-hit killed by Triple Axle. I'm not even kidding, by the way. Triple Axle, I think, has a... Wait, let me just double check to make sure I'm not gaslighting you guys. Let's say Weavile, Choice Band, Samurott Hisui, 248, 252, Bold, Triple Axle. Triple Axle. See, look at this. This doesn't even have Technician yet. Yeah, even Max Dev, non-fluffy Samurott Hisui has a chance to get 2-hit KO'd by Technician banded Triple Axle. It's crazy. Yeah, so we force it to run Fluffy, and with Fluffy it's not regen, meaning, we chip it for good damage anyway. Triple Axle is just a very good click into the entire MU as long as it hits. And yeah, that's why I have that. Ice Shard is for priority so that we can pick off perhaps Scale Shot boosted Garchomps, as well as maybe Autotomized boosted Celesteels in a pinch if we have the sufficient chip. And it will also be nice for Eleki, especially because Eleki does look quite scary with Refrigerate to deal with Landers, because fast electric coverage will be quite scary here. Even if it won't be Transistor boosted, it's something we have to account for, which is why I think Ice Shard is very good. Beat Up is here because it's also a really good click into everything. It's just a very strong... It's like, if I don't want to rely on Triple Axle, if I don't want to rely on triple axle, I will use beat up because triple axle can be a bit flimsy with its accuracy. So I want a backup a backup stab move that's also really powerful with technician in case I don't need to worry about axle missing and I can click beat up. Although, given it has more resists and florges and hands, I think I'm likely to click triple axle more, but I just want that security, which is why I'm keeping beat up there. And there isn't really any other move I need, so I figured, why not put beat up there. Knockoff is here because, there are, as strong as triple axle is, there are still some switch-ins, like maybe fist def hands with the generator or with Fluffy can be annoying, which is why I want to knock their item. I want to remove I want to remove Hans' leftovers or helm. I want to remove Samurot's leftovers or helm. Or anyone here doesn't want their lefties removed, doesn't want their assault vest, doesn't want their offensive item, doesn't want their helm removed, which is why I think knockoff is a really good mid ground. In general, Weavile is straightforward, and Axel just deals so much. Yeah, not much more to say. Weavile, I love you, and I can't wait to use you in this MU. Weavile. Alright, so the third Pokemon we have here is Tapu Fini. As I said earlier, Moonblast is a very good mid-ground here, which is why I have it. While also having Nature's Madness as well for Florges, Delmice, and Celesteela, because I believe those things can switch into Moonblast well. Nature's Madness deals good chip to them. While Scald can fish for burns on the likes of Florges, Steela, and even Delmice, while also hitting Salazzle, another Moonblast resist, for super effective damage. While also generally being annoying by fishing for burns. Defog is here. Because Samurai Tsui, as I said, can be quite scary with Ceaseless Edge spreading spikes all around, and because Tapu Fini needs to switch in, I think Defog is perfect to remove said spikes so that Samurai Tsui can't force any chip if it clicks Ceaseless Edge on Tapu Fini. So Tapu Fini, welcome to the team. Oh wait, yeah, I forgot to mention, it has regen so that it can switch into Garchomp, it can be a decent check with Garchomp, it can continually switch into Samurai Tsui and then just switch back out and take no recover all of the chip with Regenerator. And with the Rocky Helmet, we can punish the likes of Poison Jabs from Garchomp, as well as Ceaseless Edges and Knockoff from Samurai Tsui. So Tapu Fini, I can't wait to use you. You will be a great pivot for my offensive threats. Tapu Fini. Alright, for the fourth one, we have Landers Therian. Why did they F up the formatting? Sorry, let me fix this for a moment. There we go. Perfect. Let's go. Okay, so back at it. Landers Therian here with a relatively simple set, just max attack, max speed because Meloette is just one base speed below it, so I figured I want to outrun that as well. A few things. Yashi Berry, because Eleki, if it comes, is very obviously going to be Refrigerate. Let's not sugarcoat it. It's definitely going to be Refrigerate. With both of my electric move switch-ins being 4 times weak to ice ground types, Refrigerate Eleki is pretty free here. So I want a Yashi Berry so that I can eat one ice move and hit it back hard with an Earthquake. Galvanize return because the only switch-ins to Landers' Earthquakes are, for one, Earth Eater Hands, which we don't have Psychic to deal with, so I figured if it's Earth Eater Hands, at least it's not Poison Hail, at least it's not Regen, which I can happily deal with my other threats. So Galvanize its return for Celesteela. If it's Volt Absorb, then that means we can at least kill it with Infernape or with Weavile, because that means it's not Fluffy or something. So return for Celesteela and Crunch for Delmice. I don't I did consider having Rock Polish on this set, but I figured I need all 3 moves so that Lander's Theron can break mid-game for for my win cons being Weavile and some other mons you will see later. Or yeah, for Weavile and my other breakers, because my game plan here in general, as you will see here, I mostly just have, you know, some breakers with max speed or with the lowest speed possible and max attack or special attack. And the game plan here in general is just to break stuff for my other breakers, if that makes sense. So with these first mons, I just want to, or with the first mons excluding Tapu Fini, I want to break as many mons as possible so that I can open up my other threats and just win with those, rather than having like a win con with a speed boosting move. So Landorus, I did consider Rock Polish, but if I drop either Return or Crunch, I don't think I'll be able to reliably get that win con for Landorus, because again, if it has no Crunch, it has to worry about Delmice, and with or without Crunch, it has to worry about Earth Eater something, like Earth Eater Hands especially, which doesn't really take much from Landorus' other moves. So Landorus, pretty much you're a breaker, and gonna be a very good breaker with Galvanize Return. I look forward to seeing you in the matchup. Landorus, Tyrian form. Okay. Our 5th mon, as I said earlier, Infernape is going to be very hard. Is a mon that's very hard to switch into this MU, which is why I just slapped on the Choice Band, I slapped on Adaptability just to boost Close Combat and Flare Blitz, which are very hard moves to switch into in general. With as little speed as possible, so that I still creep Garchomp, and whilst outspeeding all the other things I need to outspeed. So Close Combat is very hard to switch into, as well as Flare Blitz. Match Punch is here as a clutch move, so that I can revenge the likes of Eleki, so that I can revenge the likes of Autotomized CELESTEELA in the pinch, so I can revenge the likes of Scale Shot boosted Garchomp in the pinch. U-turn is here so that I can scout the early game in case there's going to be some random well-baked body guy or fluffy guy or thick fat guy. I'm going to use Infernape for that, and I want U-turn to scout. But it's mostly also because I don't really have any other moves I need. So I figured Close Combat and Flare Blitz are just going to be really spammable, as well as Match Punch for priority, and I don't really need any other moves than that. Which is why I am this set, Infernape. I can't wait to see you in the matchup. Neep, Infernape! And for the last mon, we have Slowking Galar with the Black Sludge Earth Eater. And then just a simple max defense set with Chilly Reception so that we can gain momentum. If something like, say, Celesteela comes in that switches into Glowking pretty easily, we can just Chilly Reception on out of there. We have Trick Black. Now, I want to talk about especially Trick Black Sludge. Why do I have it? Because I'm mainly worried about Celesteela. I don't know what set it could be. It could easily be some sort of defensive set, but I am also really worried about weakness policy autotomized sets with some sort of immunity ability, which is why I don't have Flamethrower on it. Because 1, it could be Primordial Sea or Well-Baked Body, or 2, because Flamethrower might trigger weakness policy, which I really, really don't want. If Celesteela has its weakness policy activated and is automized boosted, I think I straight up just lose. I don't think Tapu Fini can stop that thing. I don't think Landorus can stop that thing. This is an offensive set. Zoroark especially isn't stopping that. Neither is Weavile or Infernape. So I don't want to boost its weakness policy recklessly, which is why I slapped on Trick Black Sludge. Yeah. Sorry. Yeah. I didn't want to... Trick Black Sludge also cripples defensive sets, while also crippling any mon that thinks it can stay in or Glowking, with Black Sludge continually chipping into them and opening up my other attackers. Slack off so that Weavile can... Slack off. Sorry, I don't know why I said Weavile. Slack off so that Glowking can eat hits. And Psychic because it's just a generally good move, hitting everyone for good neutral damage, except for Samura Hisui, which I don't really deal with anyway. And Meloetta, who's probably going to be Region Vest if it comes, which I also don't deal with anyway, which is why Soaking Galar is the set. It's just a defensive stopgap with Trick to cripple Celesteela especially, and Chilly Reception to gain momentum. So Soaking Galar, I can't wait to use you. You will be a good team member. So with that in mind, we have our breakers, we have our pivots in Slowking Galar and Tapu Fini, and now all we need to do is do our best. See you all there. Alright, hello everyone. It is officially the match. So, the top 6 they brought was Garchomp, Iron Hands, Samuratisui, Florges, Celesteela, and Regieleki. So this top 6 is relatively expected. I am really happy there is no Delmise though, because that thing was pretty annoying to switch into. Well, actually straight up, I don't think I have anything to switch into it. Which is why I'm very happy it's not here, because it's going to be very annoying to play around. So with this set, I don't really know what exactly everything is going to be. I just have some rough predictions. Like, generally, as you heard in prep, I'm worried about weakness policy Celesteela, so I have to play assuming I have to play around the fact that I'm assuming it's weakness policy. Garchomp can be a scale shot boosting set, Iron Hands can be region vest, some boosting ability set, or fluffy helm, same with Samuratisui, which will be annoying with Ceaseless Edge. Florges is pretty much, I think, going to be some special defense set for Zoroark, and Regieleki is going to be Refrigerate for Landorus. So, without further ado, let's just see how it goes. I think from this top 6, Landorus Therian just looks really good. He just looks like a really good click, or a really good lead here. Because Earthquake has no switch-ins other than Celesteela, who, if it's Volt Absorb, we can hit, or if it's not Volt Absorb, we can hit with a Galvanized Return. Which is why I think Landorus Therian's a good lead here. We lead with it. Now, I know what I said before. I was worried about weakness policy Celesteela. And I don't know why, but straight up, I just assumed, like, I wasn't even thinking properly. Like, I just straight up assumed it wouldn't be weakness policy, or I just assumed Landorus Therian would eat a heavy slam. Which, if we do calcs here, Landorus Therian does not eat a heavy slam. So, yeah, that entire thing, like, when I said in prep, we're worried about heavy slam Celesteela, or like weakness policy Celesteela in general, I wasn't kidding. I really was worried about it. But for some reason in the MU, I just decided, yeah, fuck it. I'll just click return and, Hail Mary. And it stays in, we click return. Is it weakness policy? Grand question. It is not weakness policy. It is likely to be a defensive, or it's likely to be a bulky set because it has Leech Seed and it didn't tie to Galvanized Return. That is what I thought in this MU, which is why I'm gonna be honest, that was a very bad play. Like, if that had weakness policy and click autotomize, we lost. Straight up. We just don't win. We lose. Straight up. So yeah, that's a problem with my play. I tend to be extremely reckless and sometimes forget my plans because, I get impatient and such, which is a habit I'm hopefully going to get rid of in future games. But, we got rewarded with that play. 1 GG, right? So return deals a good chunk to Celesteela, where we can assume it's bulky because return did a pretty sizable amount of damage, meaning it's probably not Fist Def. And, because it has Leech Seed, it's probably max HP and some sort of slow set and not autotomize, which is good for us. So return deals good damage and it reveals to be leftovers, so it is not weakness policy, not any boosting item, thank god for that. We switch in Slowking Galar because it's quite obvious with Leech Seed, Celesteela is going to click Protect or Heavy Slam or Switch out, which is why I didn't want to stay in with Landorus because I don't think I was going to get much meaningful progress other than losing health with Leech Seed. So I went into Slowking Galar, and I figured click Chilly Reception here. There's not much this Celesteela can do other than click Heavy Slam, which might dent Slowking, but I don't really fear that too much. I figured I'd click Reception in the case he clicks Leech Seed or Slam. And so yeah, we got away with that. Leech Seed, it's Leech Seed, and we get this Reception off here for free. We send in Landorus here again because, return looks like a pretty free click. Iron Hands comes in here. We do the calcs, and that is revealed to be a very Fist Def hand, so we know it's not offensive at least. And it does confirm to be Poison Heal, so it's not Earth Eater, it's not a boosting item. So here, I click Earthquake, thinking, you know, it's going to chip hands hard, and we have the Yashi Berry, so we can at least do good chip to it, and hand is a big threat. That was my main mindset. However, in hindsight, the main reason that's a bad idea is because I needed hands to kill CELESTEELA reliably. With Galvanized Return, it's the only thing that can switch, quote-unquote, switch into CELESTEELA and deal good damage to it, because I'm not sending in Infernape on CELESTEELA. In the instance, it's Air Slash, it's Air Slash, right? And I also need Landorus' Yashi Berry for Regieleki. So here, by both chipping Landorus and losing my Yashi Berry, sure, I dent hands, but now I just But now I leave myself open to CELESTEELA and Eleki, which might be rough later on. So here I just keep spamming Earthquake to keep hands slow. It reveals to be Iron Defense. So here I think it's going to click Protect again because, you know, it's worried about Earthquake. But I actually miscalculated for some reason. I thought 29 times 2 was 48. So that's a dumbass move on my part. It was free to click Ice Punch here and I forgot about that. So I clicked Sword Sense thinking it's going to Protect. But no, it just clicks Ice Punch, so that was a dumb turn, and we lose Landorus for, I guess, decent progress, with CELESTEELA losing nearly half its HP and Iron Hands being at 41. But losing Landorus makes it so much rougher for us in the long term for CELESTEELA and Regieleki. Again, I do tend to be quite reckless sometimes with my games, which is a habit I think many players have, and in order for a player to get much better at draft, they need to learn to be patient, to be calculating, and to stop being so reckless with moves. That is something I aim to achieve when, with more draft battles. I intend to get better at that regard, and hopefully, you know, become really patient and lose those reckless habits. So here I started Zoroark Hisui on the Revenge because Iron Hands is low. So I need some physical threat some special threat rather. It's low and has boosted defense, so I figured I need to send in Zoroark because it's a special attacker, and the only thing I need to worry about is deciding whether to click Shadow Ball or Hyper Voice, worrying about Celesteela or Florges coming in. So I figured, yeah, I'll just click Shadow Ball here because it hits everyone. And then Florges reveals to be bulletproof, which I actually forgot about in prep. Bulletproof blocks Sludge Bomb. So, yeah, that's on me. I didn't prep for Bulletproof Florges at all. That's really good. That's a really good brain Wealthy Wizard's part. So, now we know and now we remember Sludge Bomb and Shadow Ball are blocked by Bulletproof. I need to remember that from now on. So, this Florges is not worried about Shadow Ball, and it's probably not worried about Hyper Voice either. So, because it's probably max PDEF. So, we will take note of that next time we send in Zoroark. We send in Gloking here because, you know, Florges really can't do much to it. I'm not worried about any Specs move. And I don't think I'm really worried about Specs either. Or Trick Specs either because, well, okay, maybe I am kind of worried about it, but it's not the worst thing in the world, and I'd rather not risk losing Zoroark. I think Gloking getting tricked with Choice Specs is a worst case I'm willing to take because we keep Zoroark alive and because we trick the Black Sludge onto Florges, which is actually a win on our part. Which is what we do here. So now Florges has no leftovers, and now every time it wants to come in and check Zoroark, it has to worry about taking Black Sludge chip. So that's good for us. Now we have leftovers, and Florges is now weakened with Black Sludge. We click Chili, because Celesteela is pretty obviously coming in. It's going to take a wish, unfortunately, so all that progress made with Lando earlier is going to go to waste. But at least now we have a weakened Florges that can't reliably switch in on a Zoroark because has to worry about me clicking Hyper Voice now and the fact that it has Black Sludge. So we should Reception out into our Infernape so that we can scout if it's well-baked body or if it's well-baked body. Which, given it's not Volt Absorb, it probably is, but, you know, we might as well make sure anyway. There's not really much we can do. To hit Steela, so I figured we might as well scout. So it took the wish. We click Uten here. And now we send in Gloking because we are worried about an Earthquake or an Air Slash. And it is Earthquake. We eat that up with Earth Eater. Heavy Slam here does 43, right? And Iron Fist of Slowking, that is a lot of damage. So this Celesteela turns out to be a bulky offensive Steela. So Heavy Slam does a fuck ton, and right now we don't have any good ways of killing this Steela. It's a huge threat. Losing Landros was huge, and I really regret that in game. I'm not sending in Weavile, that's not killing Steela. That's not guaranteed killing Steela. Infernape is probably not killing Steela either because it stayed in. So it's not probably not worried about Flare Blitz. So now all I have to do is send in Zoroark and chip it hard with Shadow Ball, right? Even if we lose Zoroark, there's nothing much we can do. This Steela is a huge threat. So we send in Zoroark. We click Shadow Ball. Heavy Slam utterly smokes Zoroark, which, like, that really caught me off guard in game. So now we send in Infernape because it's relatively free. Nothing can switch into close combat other than some random Fluffymon, and it's going to be still really good damage because it banded adaptability. They click Protect, there's not much they can do. So we just click close combat here and kill Steela. Regieleki comes in here and it's like really scary because we don't have Landers anymore, which is another reason I regret sacking him. And I don't want to sack Glowking because I don't want to send in Glowking because I was worried this would be some spec set which I might need Glowking healthy for, which is why I wanted to sack Weavile because it was the thing I was most willing to sack in the instance, you know, because Axel is good and all, but I figured I could win with Finny, Infernape at worst. Compared if I don't have Glowking, then I just lose to Regieleki, right? So I just send in Weavile because I'm willing to lose it. He clicks Substitute, which that means he's not choiced, which means I'm relatively confident Weavile can take a hit and just kill this thing. So I click Triple Axel, hoping I land all. We break the sub and we smoke Regieleki. That's another threat gone. I am so happy about that. Opponent unfortunately forgot about multi-hit, but we take those, I guess. Samurai Hisui comes in. We're worried about Sacred Sword, we're worried about Tinted Lens moves. We just don't do much to Samurai Hisui and might just click Ceaseless Edge, so I want to go into Tapu Fini immediately so that we can chip it with Rocky Helm and defog the spikes if those come up. So it clicks Knock. It's not Pads, it's not Magic Guard. So we just switch into Weavile here because it's obviously not staying in on Finny, right? Because he needs Samurai Hisui for Weavile. And so I figured, you know, I might as well make the ballsy play and just switch to Weavile right now. It also doesn't appear to be Tinted Lens or hold on, let me double check. I don't think that's any form of Tinted Lens damage at all. Let's say Samurai Hisui, Tapu Fini, 5th Def. Let's say here, Tinted Lens. Knockoff would deal 26. It might be not max attack Tinted Lens, but you know, I figured it wouldn't stay on Tapu Fini anyway, so I figured I'd make the double to Weavile to get some immediate progress rather than click Moonblast and do like what 12 to Florges and it just clicks Wish again. So I go into Weavile, I get the read right, takes Black Sludge Chip, and something dies to Triple Axel. Samurai Hisui gets 2-tapped if it's not defensive. Based on that first damage, it looked like it wasn't defensive or fluffy, so if we hit all three, we're gonna 2-hit KO this thing and win. Win with Weavile like straight up, unless he's Scarf on Garchomp, which I don't think he will be. But we miss the other two hits, which is unfortunate. Not much we can do. He clicks Sucker Punch, we send in Finny because we're worried about Ceaseless Edge. So I thought might as well click Moonblast here. So that's the threat gone, and now Weavile looks utterly free. We click Defog to get rid of the spike. Skill swap here is really scary because I actually saw this guy's paste, and this Garchomp, it was dazzling. So if it clicks Scale, if Tapu Fini was weakened and it got a Scale Shot on Slowking and I don't have Ice Beam, Garchomp straight up won because Shard doesn't kill it, Match Punch doesn't kill it because it's dazzling, and with Skill Swap, I don't regen off any chip I take from Florges here. So that's really good. That's really good on his part. Very good prep on his part. I get the shit ability like Bulletproof, and he gets Regenerator, so he can regen off some Black Sludge chip and deal good damage to me with Moonblast right now, so to open up Garchomp. which I didn't take account for in the game, unfortunately. Like, I just got lucky. I didn't get. Oh no, I'll talk more about that later. But I didn't think much about it here. I thought I could just spam Moonblast endlessly, not worried about anything at all. So the reason why he made the double here, he told me, is because he was worried I would go to Gloking because he thought I would be worried about, well, Florges doing Moonblast chip and killing Finny and opening a Garchomp, right? Which is why he thought he thought I would go into Gloking and he'd get the scale shot off and then just win from there. But you know, I think in the game I just thought I could just spam Moonblast and I didn't take account Florges chipping Finny and opening up Chomp endgame. I just got lucky. I didn't really get punished by that. However, I think from this point, right, even if, say at worst, like, I just lose Finny, right? Like, it clicks multiple Moonblasts and then Garchomp comes in. At least it's never clicking scale, right? Like, at the absolute worst, I lose Finny, Garchomp doesn't get the scale shot off, and I can win by just clicking Axel 3 times with Weavile. But that does put me at the mercy of landing 3 triple Axels, which is, not an endgame I'd probably want to rely on. I'd want to rely on. Although, even if I did take into account the fact that Garchomp can win if Chomp was chipped, I don't think I would have switched out. I think I would have still stayed in with Finny because I don't want Garchomp ever getting a skill shot off, so, which is why I wanted to just keep spamming Moonblast. However, I think an alternative could have been... No, wait. No. Okay. No. I think going into Gloking will just put me at the loss, right? Because let's say I switch out here. I go into Gloking. I don't have Ice Beam, and I think he kind of knows that. So he would just click Scale Shot, right? And get the boost on Slowking and probably smoke Finny with either a boosted jab or some sort of, like, I don't know, Life Orb, Earthquake or something. Which is why I was very worried. I think I'm overthinking, but the point is, if I went into Gloking, that put me at the mercy of anything Garchomp related. I couldn't just repeatedly hit it with Psychic because that gives it opportunities to Swords Dance and smoke Finny. Which is why I think staying with Finny no matter what is ultimately the best play. Because we deny Garchomp any opportunity. Because not taking into accuracy, we get the guaranteed win. We make sure Garchomp doesn't get any scale shot boosts. We just hit it with Moonblast continually. Yeah. Here it reveals to be Poison Jab. So if it did get the Swords Dance and the scale shot boost on Gloking, it would just win. But thankfully that doesn't happen. And from here on out, we just send in Slowking Galar to eat Florges. We slack off here and body press, and then we just kill Hands and then kill Florges with Flare Blitz. So that was a very scary game. I'm happy I won that. I got out of that alive, but it was a very scary game. I was kind of reckless. I did not take into account Dazzling Garchomp at all. That was very good prep on my opponent's part. I should remember that my opponents from here on out can just bring Dazzling because I have good priority. And on top of that, I just sacked off my only answer to Reggie Elecki and my reliable answer to CELESTEELA. Which is why my main takeaway from this is, one, I should worry about random abilities like Dazzling and Queenie Majesty, while also worrying about this CELESTEELA was actually thick fat, which is something I didn't take into account, which is something I should worry about because I have Infernape Weavile. So I should worry about fluffy and thick fat. And then my last main takeaway is, which I think really affected this game, is I shouldn't be reckless. You know, I should really take into account what sets they could be, because in AAA, many mons can be many sets that can be dangerous if I don't play carefully. So I should really preserve all my win cons, all my stop gaps, and hopefully in the future, I play better and I make better content for you all. Let's all be better together. Thank you everyone for watching. Have a shitty week ahead. Thank you all.